In this video, we want to have a look how criminals are using the corona crisis to carry out espionage, to try to intercept communication. Well, the COVID pandemic forced companies all around the world to expand, or even for the first time implement, work from home policies. It means people are staying home, not coming to work, and they're working from their home office. This trend is not new. It's a direct response to various other trends, for example, lack of qualified workers in some areas, where you're trying to attract people in other regions of the world. We see increased prices in rent, both offices and houses, which makes it less attractive to move to those areas which are already very crowded. So working from home offers advantages for both the companies as well as their employees. And there are quite a few positive first reviews of the performance of the workforce when working from home. I mean, it's not as easy as it sounds when you have your kids around, but as soon as schools are open, a situation can be quite different, and people might be even more productive working from home. So it's very likely a trend that will last long after the corona crisis is over. Let's have a look at what changes when people work from home when it comes to cybersecurity in the cyber environment. We see more data transfer. Instead of data being hosted in a company and just being internally accessed, we all of a sudden see that people are transferring data from the computer system to their home every time they're accessing certain data. And that means more data transfer and more ability for criminals to access this data. We see that companies need to add additional layers of security if they want to make those transfer of data, if they want to make it secure. For example, they need VPNs, virtual private networks. It's a different layer of security that they wouldn't need to this extent if most people are working within the organization, within the building. And very often work from home means that people are using their own devices. It's not like bring your own device, but use your own device, with all the consequences when there are vulnerabilities in the network and when devices are not as secured as they would be in a company. Now let's have a look at the recent trends that we see with regard to COVID. We see targeted attacks against companies that have switched to short-time work or laid off staff in the IT security department. If you're laying off your staff, if you have less people working in the IT security field, well, you have a problem because it's easier to attack you. You might wonder, how do people find out? Well, very often there are information published either on the website of the company, or people can refer to professional networks such as LinkedIn to see if somebody changed the status, if he's now looking for a job. And if he was working in the IT department, they can draw conclusions, say maybe people are laid off there, and it is easier to attack them. The second thing we see is we see approaches to intercept communication between people working from home in their computer system and the company's computer system. In this regard, it's very interesting to point out that there are individual criminals, there are organized crime groups, but there are also state actors involved. Obviously, it's not surprising that especially the research with regard to possible vaccinations are targeted. So companies that are working in this field are especially targeted by those attacks, but also provider of critical infrastructure. Another critical infrastructure is target of such attacks. As always, our thoughts are with the frontline workers. Thank you very much for keeping us safe, and stay healthy.